All right, let's cut the crap and get right into it. UFC and ESPN. Covington versus Buckley, or as some folks call it, UFC on ESPN 63. You ready to break down this wild night in Tampa?
Buckle up. Yeah, we've got a stack of fight results, some background on this crazy event, and yeah, even some bonus awards to talk about.
That's right. And let me tell you, this card had some seriously surprising outcomes. Some real holy shit moments.
Absolutely. And the lead up to fight night was just as nuts with all the changes and replacements. Remember, this event was supposed to be headlined by Ian Machado, Gary, and Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah, until Gary got pulled for another event. But hey, they brought in Colby Covington as the last-minute replacement. Talk about a shakeup. It totally flipped the script on the main event.
For sure. And the original plan for Umar Nurmagomedov to headline against Song Yadong fell through too, thanks to Song's injury.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been a brawl.
Yeah, a total bummer.
Yeah.
But even with the changes, this card delivered some serious action. So why don't we start with the first fight of the night? The women's strawweight bout between Pierre Rodriguez and Josephine Lindgren-Knudsen.
Rodriguez snagged a unanimous decision victory here, showcasing some seriously sharp striking skills. She controlled the pace of the fight and really kept Knudsen on the defensive.
Solid win for Rodriguez. But it was a pretty technical fight. Not the most exciting of the night, right?
True, it was more about strategy and precision than all-out brawling.
All right, moving on to the bantamweight clash between Davy Grant and Ramon Taveras. Grant walked away with the win, also by unanimous decision.
This was a classic veteran move by Grant. He absorbed Taveras' initial aggression and then turned the tables in the later rounds. He used his experience to wear Taveras down, strategically picking his shots.
Smart fighting, for sure. Then we had Miranda Maverick going up against Jamey-Lyn in the women's flyweight division. Maverick took home a unanimous decision, but I hear it was a close one.
It was a nail-biter, with both fighters landing some good shots, but Maverick's grappling proved to be the deciding factor, taking Horth down and controlling the ground game.
Grappling can be a game changer. Now, this next fight was a featherweight bout between Felipe Lima and Miles Johns. Lima ended up winning by unanimous decision. What stood out to you in this one?
Lima's resilience was amazing. He took some hard hits from Johns but kept coming back, showing a really diverse striking game. It was a testament to his conditioning and fighting spirit.
Grit and determination. Gotta love it. Up next, another featherweight showdown, Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. And this one ended with a bang. A first-round TKO victory for Woodson.
Woodson's raw power was on full display here. He landed a series of brutal punches, just overwhelming Padilla. The ref had no choice but to stop the fight.
Damn, talk about a statement win. Now, for a fight that really got the crowd roaring, we had Joel Alvarez squaring off against Drakkar Klose in the lightweight division. Alvarez pulled off a stunning first-round KO with a flying knee and punches.
That was a highlight reel finish. Alvarez came out of nowhere with that flying knee, catching Klose completely off guard, lights out.
Brutal, but beautiful.
Yeah.
Another lightweight showdown that ended with a knockout. Michael Johnson versus Ottman Azaitar Johnson took Azaitar down in the second round with a monster punch.
Johnson was a beast in this fight. He demonstrated some serious knockout power and pinpoint accuracy with his striking trick. Azaitar never saw it coming.
Another knockout for the books. Next up, we move to the light heavyweight division with Navajo Sterling taking on Tuco. Joko Sterling won by unanimous decision.
Sterling showed his well-rounded skills in this one. He used his grappling to control the fight, taking Toko's down and negating his offense. He was also landing some heavy shots when they were standing.
A truly dominant performance. Now, get ready for a real nail-biter. Daniel Marcos versus Adrian Yañez in the bantamweight division. Marcos got the nod from the judges, but it was a split decision.
This one went down to the wire. Both fighters landed significant strikes and showcased incredible heart. Marcos ultimately edged it out with his relentless aggression and volume of punches.
So close. And now, let's talk about one of the fights that snagged a Performance of the Night bonus.
Dustin Jacoby. He absolutely demolished Vitor Petrino in their light heavyweight fight. Scoring a knockout in the third round, Jacoby landed a perfectly timed punch that sent Petrino crashing to the canvas.
Yeah, that knockout was savage. Jacoby's power is undeniable. Moving on to the flyweight division, we had Manel Kape facing off against Bruno Gustavo da Silva. This one also ended with a TKO victory, with Kape taking the win in the third round.
Kape delivered a brutal body kick, followed by a flurry of punches that just overwhelmed da Silva. It was a dominant performance. But let's not forget that Kape was penalized in the second round for a low blow, which definitely added some drama.
Those low blows can be controversial.
Yeah.
And speaking of controversial, let's not forget about Cub Swanson and Billy Quarantillo.
Ah, yes, the fight of the night. Swanson finished Quarantillo with a knockout in the third round. This one was a brawl from the opening bell. Both fighters showed incredible heart just swinging for the fences.
It was a total slugfest. The crowd was going wild. But in the end, Swanson's experience and power proved to be too much for Quarantillo.
For sure, Swanson's a veteran for a reason.
Now for the main event. The one everyone was waiting for. Joaquin Buckley versus Colby Covington. And let me tell you, this fight was a shocker. Buckley scored a TKO victory in the third round after the doctor stopped the fight.
This was a massive upset. Covington came in as a heavy favorite, but Buckley's power and relentless pressure just overwhelmed him. It was like Covington had no answer for Buckley's ferocity.
Yeah, that doctor stoppage was a clear sign that Covington was in deep shit. This fight really shook up the welterweight division. Covington was riding high, and this loss throws a serious wrench in his plans.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from this.
So let's break down what happened. What do you think was the key to Buckley's victory?
It was a combination of factors. Buckley's power was undeniable, but he also fought with incredible intelligence. He never let Covington settle into his rhythm, kept the pressure on, and capitalized on every opening.
Covington just couldn't handle the heat. He looked frustrated and out of his element.
It seemed like Buckley's aggression really got to him. Covington's known for his relentless pace, but Buckley flipped the script and made Covington the one chasing the fight.
Amazing. This is why we love this sport, right? The unpredictability. The underdogs rising to the occasion. It's insane.
Totally. And speaking of upsets, let's not forget about some of the other surprises on this card. Remember how the original plan for Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Ribas to have a rematch at this event fell through?
Yeah, what happened there? I thought that was a done deal.
Well, the UFC decided to move that fight to headline a later fight night card. They must be expecting that rematch to be a real barn burner.
Smart move. Gives those two ladies more time to prepare and build up the hype. Now, when we're talking about changes, let's not forget about the Tracy Cortez and Miranda Maverick situation.
Right. They were supposed to throw down, but Cortez had to pull out due to health issues, which is a bummer. She had to undergo surgery. So Jamey-Lyn stepped in as a replacement to face Maverick.
Tough break for Cortez. Hope she recovers quickly. But hey, got to give props to Horth for stepping up on short notice.
Absolutely. It takes guts to jump into a fight like that.
Okay. Let's talk about the bonus awards for this wild night. The Fight of the Night bonus went to, drumroll please,
Cub Swanson and Billy Quarantillo. That fight was an absolute war. Both guys were swinging for the fences, and neither one is backing down. A well-deserved bonus for both of them.
Couldn't agree more. That fight was a total bloodbath. And for the Performance of the Night bonuses, we had Dustin Jacoby for his knockout of Vitor Petrino.
Jacoby's power is just ridiculous. That punch was like a bolt from the blue. Petrino didn't even know it hit him.
And the other Performance of the Night bonus went to Michael Johnson for his knockout win against Ottman Azaitar.
Johnson's been around forever,
Yeah.
And it's great to see him still performing at such a high level. He's a true veteran of the sport. He's seen it all and done it all.
He's a legend, no doubt about it. Speaking of veterans, it's wild to think that Cub Swanson has been fighting in the UFC for over a decade. He's one of the OGs.
Absolutely. He's been in some of the most memorable fights in UFC history. He's a warrior.
So what does this all mean? This UFC event was a roller coaster ride with upsets, knockouts, and some seriously pissed off fighters.
It really shook things up. And that's what we love about the UFC, right? The unpredictability. You never know who's going to win or what crazy shit's going to happen.
Exactly. That's what keeps us coming back for more.
Absolutely. It's a sport where underdogs can rise to the occasion and shock the world.
And that makes for some seriously entertaining fights. So as we wrap up our deep dive into UFC on ESPN, Covington versus Buckley, what's the biggest takeaway for you?
I think it's the reminder that this sport is constantly evolving. We see new stars emerge, established fighters fall, and the landscape of each division can change in an instant. It's a wild ride, and I, for one, can't wait to see what happens next.
Damn straight. I'm already hyped for the next event. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let me just say, if you enjoyed this breakdown of UFC on ESPN, Covington versus Buckley, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to AI Meets You for more deep dives into the world of combat sports and beyond.
And let us know in the comments what surprised you most about this event. We love hearing from you guys.
It's crazy how one fight can completely shift the power dynamics of a division.
That's the beauty of this sport. Anything can happen. Anyone can win on any given night. And, that's what makes Buckley's win over Covington so damn compelling.
Totally. It was a massive upset, no doubt. But going back to that doctor's stoppage, it felt like Covington was already on shaky ground even before the fight was officially called.
You could see it in his eyes, man. That fire, that intensity he usually brings. It just wasn't there. Buckley had him rattled from the start.
It's like Covington's usual game plan. That relentless pressure he's known for, Buckley threw it right back in his face. Covington didn't know how to handle it.
He was completely out of his element, and Buckley just kept coming forward, throwing bombs. You could see the momentum shifting with each punch.
It was like watching a predator slowly wearing down its prey, and the crowd was going wild. You could feel the energy in the arena shift as Buckley started to take control.
It was electric. And that finishing sequence, brutal Buckley just unleashed a flurry of punches, and that was it. Lights out for Covington.
It was a statement win, for sure. It puts Buckley on the map as a serious contender in the welterweight division, and it raises a big question. What's next for Covington?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to think about. He needs to figure out what went wrong, make some adjustments, and come back stronger.
Yeah, he can't let this loss define him. He's a tough son of a bitch, and I wouldn't count us out just yet.
Me neither. But he's got his work cut out for him. The welterweight division is a shark tank, and there are a lot of hungry fighters looking to take his spot.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let me ask you this. Do you think Buckley's win signals a changing of the guard in the welterweight division? Or was this just a fluke?
That's a tough one. Buckley definitely proved he's a force to be reckoned with, but it's too early to say if he's the next big thing. Time will tell.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens next. And hey, speaking of waiting and seeing, make sure you subscribe to AI Meets You so you don't miss out on any of our deep dives into the crazy world of combat sports and everything else that matters.
And while you're at it, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let us know what you thought of this wild night in Tampa. Did you see Buckley's win coming?
All right, fight fans, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into UFC on ESPN. Covington versus Buckley. We had upsets, knockouts, bonus awards, and one hell of a main event.
It was a night fight fans will be talking about for a long time. And remember, this is just the beginning. We'll be back soon with more deep dives into the world of combat sports.
Until then, stay tuned, stay savage, and keep those fists flying. So for AI Meets You, I'm out.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting this channel by hitting the subscribe and like buttons. This will help the channel grow and expand on the journey we have begun together here at AI Meets You.